everyone, I am as always Dark Devious bringing you another video review, and yes, more NECA stuff. It's another Godzilla, this time from Godzilla 1985. Which, in the continuity of Godzilla films, is supposed to be a direct sequel to the original Godzilla movie from I want to say 54. I have seen it. In the United States, it was called Godzilla the King of Monsters. In Japan, it was, of course, Godzilla. You know. And this is, like, harkens back to his more classic look from, like, the 70s. With the big eyes and ears and stuff like that. And he's got a short, stubby tail. As opposed to, you know, the longer tail of later versions. I'll compare him with, you know, the Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla one and the 2014 Godzilla. Of course, I'm going to have to. But articulation-wise, from looking in the package, it looks like he has almost all the same joints as the previous Godzilla from the Space Godzilla set, and except for the extra bend in his claws, which is perfectly fine. I can live with that. On the back, there's just a big picture of Godzilla on the back. Similar to the one that was on the other Godzilla package. In fact, the artwork under his legs is identical to the other one. It's just a different figure in there. So yeah. So I'm going to get him out of the package and we're going to take a look at him. I'll be right back. Alrighty, here's Godzilla out of his package. And he looks pretty cool, this 85 version, you know? Shorter spines on his back. They are soft rubbery, as you can see. And again, like I said, the stubbier tail, not as whip-like as, you know, the other versions. So it still has some length to it. Head is really nicely done. It's just really cool. Just another really good sculpt of Godzilla from NECA. Now, I will say right now, I can't get his knees to bend. There is a knee joint there. I'm not going to force them. If they don't want to bend, that's perfectly fine because he really doesn't need it anyway. All his other joints work really nicely, though. He doesn't have quite as many as the, I want to say 91 version, or whatever the Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla year was. The 90s version of Godzilla. He has a little bit more articulation, and his legs are a little thicker. But still, I mean, this is still representing a man in a Godzilla suit. So, this is pretty good. Give you a nice quick 360 of him. And in the movie Godzilla 1985, because in the original Godzilla was not a nice, friendly helper of the people like he is in some of the later Godzilla films. He really is the villain of the piece, where he destroys cities. In 1985, it was the same thing. Now, the movie actually came out in 1984 in Japan, and then just like the original one, when they made it Godzilla King of Monsters, they added Raymond Burr into it. So, you have parts with Raymond Burr, you have parts without Raymond Burr. But, yeah. Really cool. In the end of the film, they drop him into a volcano. And they think they kill him, but obviously he comes back, because in 1989, we had Godzilla vs. Biollante, but that's where you get the more 90s look. They changed the costume up for that. Which is still, that's still my favorite version of Godzilla, is that one from the 90s. This, though, it reminds me more of the one from the 70s. Though the one from the 70s was a lighter color, and his eyes were still bigger, and more over his head like a frog, as opposed to like this. So, you know, there is that. We'll take a closer look at his head. We'll come up and look at that. So you can see the nice details in there. And you can see, there's his little ears. They're a little bit more pronounced on this version than they are on the 90s version. His lovely eyes, how they painted them in. His mouth does open and close. He's got a nice tongue in there. He's just got that angry scowl. Now for articulation, his head is on a beautiful ball joint. You can even get him to go, huh? Huh? And you got this part moves, and then you got the joint underneath it moves independently. Alright? And then you got the shoulders come up. They go all the way around on pin and socket. And then you got the elbow. Now this elbow doesn't move as well as his right arm. His right arm gave me no problem at all moving. So, and then his wrists swivel. He's got the ab crunch ball joint. And all the fins kind of just move out of the way because they're soft rubber. He's got a rotation at the thigh. He's got rotation at the knee. He's supposed to have a bend at the knee. Like I said, I am not going to force it because it's probably got paint in there. So I'm not going to do that. But then he's got ball joints at his feet too. So, and then his tail has articulation there, 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 and there. And then you got a wire in this part. So I mean, this was the only part that got attached, was this little stubby end. But you can get that up out of the way and off to the side if you want to, and you can use it to help him stay stable. So you don't really need his feet too much, but yeah. So there we go. And we'll bring in the others, and as you see here, here's the 90s version. You can see he's got slightly thicker legs, and he's got more of a scaly look than this version does. This version's got bigger scales, and he's got more lines and folds on his legs than this one does. And this one has much bigger spines and a much longer tail. It's not as rounded at the end. He's also slightly taller, but his head's smaller, as you can see. His head is smaller. And yes, for those who didn't watch the whole video, I fixed his head, but it still likes to pop off. But I did fix it. It was originally glued in place. And then finally, we'll bring in the 2014 Godzilla, whose design is just completely different from the others. He's just got all black spines. Would be nice if these were highlighted white. But his tail is extremely long compared to the others. Yeah. And his articulation is similar to this one. It's not very much different. You see, there's Godzilla through the years here. We can just put him like this. And we have 1985, the 90s, and 2014. And you can see how he has changed over the years. They're all really cool. I love how his claws are more of a off-white bone color. His are like a bluish color, and his are just black. So I like that. That makes these ones stand out more. So yeah, if you're a fan of Godzilla and you don't want to go the monster arts route, which can get expensive, NECA has some really great alternatives with some great articulation, fantastic looks, and a nice size. I mean, these are not small figures at all. There you want a size comparison with a regular size 7-inch figure. Here's Dr. Zaius, and they're not too small. Alright? So there you go. Get these two out of here. Goodbye. So yeah, I recommend this one. This is cool. If you're a fan of the older Godzilla films from Toho, you want to collect some of these Godzillas. I'm wondering if they're going to give us an original Godzilla from 1954, 1953. Somebody is going to put it in the comments. I don't care. It was somewhere early in the 1950s that Godzilla first appeared. So, yeah. I'm wondering if we're going to get one like that, if we're going to get one from the 70s with the lighter color and the more bug eyes. That'd be kind of funny. Still, NECA. He needs monsters to fight. We need something. King Ghidorah. I want him. I want NECA Godzilla. Something. Come on now. Alright. You guys be good. I'll send old Atomic Breath after you. This version wasn't very friendly to humans.